Good afternoon, Joseph Ojea here, the Freelance Cowboy. Today what we're going to be filming is a training session moving on from colt starting. I did a 4-part video series on how to start a quarter horse. I used Newt Scoot'n here. He's 2 years and 5 months old now. It took me a total of 5 training sessions to get him fully broke and started under saddle. He's got the pad, the saddle, and he's bridled and moving out on command when you're on his back. Literally took 5 sessions, guys. I'm really pleased with him. He's a very smart and intelligent horse. He's got a great mind on him, quarter horse. And I couldn't say how much more pleased I could be with this guy. I'm gonna tell you what, because he's everything I prayed for, hoped for in my first investment horse as a trainer, and he's coming along just fine. And the way I always say is, I move at the pace of the horse. If a horse gets it in 5 weeks, that's what it takes, and you got to do more training for that horse to get him where you need him to go. But if he gets it like that, I move with the horse just as fast as he does. So we're moving on from that officially, and today we're going to be doing basic controls and getting a handle on your horse in the walk, trot, and lope. What you want with these 3 mechanics, 3 different gaits, you want to be under complete control, and you want him to move at your command, on command, under cue, exactly how you want. You want to know that this horse's mind is synced up with yours and he's doing what you want him to do. And this here is going to be basic commands, basic controls of your horse that you're training. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to walk my horse into circles, into small circles at that. Because I don't want his mind going too many different places and wondering about a big open pasture or other horses around, because he's probably going to be focused on those things. But you get him going in small and controlled circles, it's much harder for him to escape from what his mind is doing and what his task is being asked of him at this moment. So if you get him going in small circles, you start with a walk, go left, and then go right, and then stop in each way. You want to make sure your horse can stop when you want him to, so he's not just leaving you behind if anything happens. So we are officially graduating from how to start a quarter horse and moving on to basic controls under walk, trot, and lope. Moving on to the segment, the main things that you want to take note of and remember is that this horse is still young and still fresh, so you got to take everything in strides, no pun intended. You got to start small and build and work your way up. So when you're focused on training to get your horse under controls, you start out with the walk. You do tight circles. You don't want to you can warm him up in big areas and when you're just getting started just to get him under saddle, but now that he's here, when you begin this training method, you want to use tight and small circles. It keeps his mind from running around and being focused on too many obstacles, that aren't involved in the training. You want him to be as focused as possible. So when you keep the circles small and tight, his mind is thinking and his mind is on you the entire time that you're in training. It's much harder for him to get unfocused when you do some tight circles. So with that said, I'm going to get on and I'm going to show you my process of what it takes to get him under control, and the term eventually would be finished. Because once he's finished, I want my horse to be able to neck rein left and right at a simple turn of the hand to the left or turn to the right. Leg pressure to the right to make him go left, and sitting back saying whoa, pulling back slightly on the reins to get him to come to a complete stop. If I can get this horse to do a sliding stop, I will be one happy cowboy. So with that being said, we're going to move into the session. I'm going to do left circles and I'm going to do right circles. Start off with the walk and get to the trot. I will also include a piece of me working with him trying to back up, showing you the process of that and what it takes to get him to accomplish that. It's all about pressure and release. So when you're starting with a green horse like this, what you want to do is, oh, we have a visitor taking a poop in the video. Anyway, whenever you're backing him up, you put that pressure on the reins and let him know to take a step back. The second he moves and takes a step back, you release. Because now he knows, well, if he's pulling back on my reins and I take a step back and he releases, well, then I don't have to feel it in my mouth anymore. That's what it is. So when he takes that step back, you release and tell him good job and give him a pat on the back, rub his neck, let him know good job. That's how I do it. I'm gonna show it here in this video here. So watch and enjoy. This is gonna be the first part of videos of how to get your horse under control, under saddle, and eventually leading him to being finished. And I know he's kind of young, but the way I feel about this horse at this point, it is not gonna take too long. So check this out. God bless you. Oh. So you do that, walk them in 2 loops or so, and then have them stop. When you're training a horse, whenever you stop, you tell him whoa, you want to make sure to keep him stopped for a good 10 to 15 seconds so it registers in his mind on what he needs to do when you say whoa, and that is to stand still. Now I'm going to perform it in a trot. Oh. He did okay right there. This isn't fresh. Before I broke out the camera, I did it one time to get him going before I decided to do the training video. But there's one thing I want to point out. Whenever you start this exercise, wherever your barn is or wherever something that he wants to get to is, when you start doing your circles, as you come around and he starts facing that area, he's going to start pulling over there because he's wanting to go what he's comfortable with and what he knows. And he's thinking about, I don't know about this, I just want to go home and go to my safe space. So he'll start pulling that way. What you have to do is, you keep him engaged, even though he's trying to go there, don't stop, don't panic. If it gets out of hand, you slow down to a walk if you're trotting, but you keep going. And let's say if you are trotting and once you get to the point where you're not concerned with anything and he's just lightly pulling. So when he's pulling, just put a little pressure and keep him going in that circle that you're working. Depending on the horse, the time can take difference, but the main thing is eventually, short or fast, he's gonna stop doing that, and that is exactly what you want him to do. You want him to be no longer focusing on anything else, no longer pulling away. You just want him going in the complete circle that you want him to do without cutting in or out and under control. So that way you can do circles routinely and he's not going to do anything but do what you're telling him. That is the most important thing with this drill, one of them. So just keep mind of that. If he starts pulling off, keep going, because after the 3rd or 4th lap, he stopped pulling and then he just continued to walk and trot in the circle I want him to, and that is 100% what I want. So that's a pro tip. So, now if you pay close attention to how I was doing that just now, when I got him to go the 2 times smooth consecutively, I always want repetition. I want him to go at least 2 times doing it right before I feel like, okay, now that'll stick in his mind. Let me pull him back, whoa, let me get him to stop and think about what we just did. But what I want you to take note of here is, if you notice, I had a very short lead on him, short reins on him, so I could stay in control because he's not where he needs to be right now, obviously. But if you keep it nice and tight, that keeps him from wandering off and keeps him from thinking about what he needs to be doing. I've got more control than I want to have eventually on him at this time, but that's just for the training purposes, because what you want at the end of the day, you want to be able to do that with a nice loose rein. Because if you're doing any kind of reining competitions, which we may, Ranching Heritage Classic potentially, you want a nice loose rein so it's known that this horse is properly trained and he's under complete control to what you're saying and on command and doing what you ask without having to stay in his mouth. At least that's what I assume from horse competitions anyway. If you're just a cowboy and naturally riding, you want that. You don't want to have to stay in him the whole time. You want your horse to be under control, doing what you want him to do, and doing it professionally. This is day one of control training. Walk, trot, and lope. I haven't got to the lope yet. I don't feel like he's ready to perform that just yet, at least not, on a training video. And like I said, take everything in stride, no pun intended. Take your time, work at the pace of the horse, and slowly and gradually, you'll get him to where you want him going. Thank you guys for watching again. Stay tuned for the next video. If you enjoyed the content that you just watched, please like and subscribe. I want to grow this channel as best as possible. And check in the description and in my channel details, because you can always reach out to me. I'll have my phone number there. I am the Freelance Cowboy, available for horse training. You just want to talk, want to praise the Lord and talk about God, because Christ is King and Jesus is the Son of God. Praise His name. Feel free to reach out. I'm here to talk about all those things and be your friend. Thank you again for watching. I'm Joseph Ojea, the Freelance Cowboy. This is my horse, Newt Scoot'n. He's 2 years, 5 months old. I'm going to be training him for barrels and the Ranching Heritage Classic, a reining event. And eventually, once he's done, he will be for sale. So if you want to keep up with him and track his progress and see what kind of horse this is and what kind of horse you will be getting when it comes that time, could be 6 months, could be a year, I'm not sure. But this is my business. This is also a hobby that I'm doing. But ultimately, I'm here for you, and I want to help, and I want to provide a good service. So thank you again, and God bless you.